get that checked out, Tim.
Yeah, I got back from the doctor yesterday, and prognosis is not super good.
Jesus.
Welcome to Day One Patch Podcast, episode 314. I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Adriano Petty.
Hi.
Tim Spence.
You start.
Fuck.
Matt
You
Laura.
started with me on such a high note, and then you kept on getting higher.
Adriana Petty?
Welcome to Next Gen, boys.
Welcome to the new age.
Which is
Welcome
now the
to
current
new...
gen.
God.
Which is now current gen, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Although how long we've referred to it as Next Gen, I think
Xbox
a couple
360
years.
is like forever. I still call it next gen sometimes.
Oh my god,
Because
really?
it was
next gen?
it was the first one that felt like the jump from SD to HD. It did feel like every console since the 360 PS3 feels like it's a slight evolution of that one. But it was from the PS2/Xbox to the PS3/360 where it felt like an actual jump forward.
Well,
Because
the
you
thing
had
was,
you had your increase in resolution, you had your hard drive management with like downloadable content, and like that's the furthest generation back, which still seems relatable to the most current generation.
yes, I would say that's the last, or no, that's the first non-retro. Like I feel as though like a PS2 feels retro now, with the memory cards and plugging in the controllers and the big ass multi-taps and all that crap. But the reason why I remember it always as next gen is because back then, like G4 Tech TV was like still roaring away, and like I watched so much coverage of it because back then there wasn't like all this bite-sized stuff online. It was like you had to tune into the TV. So, or at least for me anyway. So I like watched so much coverage of it, and they kept calling it the next gen console that's just forever like stuck with me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing because it's just like the first time I was paying attention to video games and video game like news was when the next gen of the 360 was coming out.
So like according to, there are sources at Wikipedia sites, but they consider this new generation of consoles, the PS5/Series XS, they consider it to be the 9th generation of consoles.
Do you know what they consider like a generation then?
Just there were years up to like they started arbitrarily doing years, going back to the Atari. Was it the Atari 2600? And then like Nintendo, the Nintendo Entertainment System is what they consider to be Gen 3. That is the 3rd generation of consoles. And then it was the Super Nintendo, which would have been Gen 4, and then you move your way up from there. And that's how it's kind of not officially, unofficially decided that is how the generations are split up. We're in the 9th generation of consoles.
I remember for like months after the Xbox One and PS4 came out, people were still calling them the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
For like well into the next year. And it's like, no, dude, that's current now. 360 PS3 is old gen.
Guys, I am very likely going to be getting my PS3 from my parents' place and hooking it up in my bedroom.
There you go.
What do you still need to play on that?
There's one goddamn game that I want to finish. That is not available digitally. Well, it is. Okay, it is and it isn't available on the PS4. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, okay.
The PSP port is only available on the PS4.
Oh man,
The
that's what you
actual,
wanna play?
yeah, the actual PlayStation, the proper PlayStation release version is available on the PS3.
And they're different versions entirely.
They are, yes, they're not. They're one. The PS4 was like a half-ass port, and it's not very well received. There are some things wrong with it, and like if you're gonna play Symphony of the Night, you play the PlayStation version of it, not
Good
the
God.
not the PlayStation Portable.
What an unnecessary complication.
Yeah, I don't know why they just wouldn't put that one on the PlayStation 4.
So some of the top stories this week, obviously we're going to be talking about the next-gen consoles, but also Twitch has apologized for their poor response to the DCMA takedowns. Fortnite is thinking about a monthly paid subscription. And we got a couple of reports, which I think is just natural with the new console, but of the Xbox Series X having some issues. So we'll get into that a bit. Tim, what's new?
Not a whole lot. I didn't get to do a whole lot of, or I guess I should say as much gaming this week because for the first half of the week I had no internet.
Oh no.
So that was a whole thing that I had to worry about from Saturday night until Tuesday afternoon. And that being said, I did still like, hop on the computer every once in a while and boot up some Baldur's Gate early access, which is pretty good. I'm just kind of going through it. I played through it, most of it on stream a couple of weeks ago, like when it first came out. But I've made another character, making some different decisions, just kind of seeing how stuff plays out in the world that way, a little more slowly, more casually. So that's been fun. I also got Red Dead 2 on PC. Matt was so kind as to gift it to me.
Oh, wow, look at that.
For my birthday. So I've been playing that a lot, and it looks pretty nice.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a shame I couldn't be on the podcast last week. But that being said, I haven't really... And then as far as anything on stream, we started up World War Z, which is a fantastic game. I've played that before on stream, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants that Left 4 Dead itch to be scratched with a more modern game. That's the way that I describe it to like pretty much anybody who I've talked about it to. It's just like it's really actually surprisingly good for what it is.
I look forward to getting back to that on Wednesday when we play again.
Yeah, and then just I've been playing for a couple of weeks now. I've been playing through Dragon Age 2 for the first time, having never played a Dragon Age game before, so it's pretty cool. But
it's kind of funny. I have two friends, you and another. You're both playing Dragon Ages on streams.
Oh yeah, which one are they playing?
Inquisition.
Okay, yeah. It's funny. There's a couple other guys that I know too that stream, and it just coincided that I started playing this one when the one guy was about halfway through Origins, and then he finished Origins, and then he started playing 2 at the same time. So there were some times where people would go from like watching my stream, mine would end, they'd go to his, and then they just keep watching Dragon Age 2. Just can't get enough. But it's cool. It's neat. I've said this before, I think maybe like 2 weeks ago on the episode then, but it's even though it came out the same year as Skyrim, it's surprising how complex the story can be depending on the decisions that you make and the characters that you interact with, and like how you go about, interacting with your different companions and stuff. I'm not used to a game where the companions play such an important role in like how the story plays out. But I guess that's just the way that like, BioWare does their games, right? It's cool.
Do you not play a lot of BioWare games?
I've never played Dragon Age, never played Mass Effect.
Mass Effect's a good streaming game if you want to do that.
Yeah, I know there's that Legendary Edition that's coming out. Yeah. I might have to do that. I'm just not big on sci-fi, and I've said that before, but like I don't know, Mass Effect might be enough of an like RPG to offset that.
Hey, here's a crazy Twitch suggestion though for Mass Effect. I don't know.
Do Renegade.
Well, now I've tried to do Renegade. I've actually done a second. Very rarely I've done a second playthrough. Try to do Renegade, and then I couldn't do it. Like I got halfway through the first game and just like I can't fucking do this. I have to go back. I was to say though, if you actually wanted to stream Mass Effect, would it be from like a viewership perspective? Would it not be better to do it just before the remasters comes out, so you are probably fewer people on Twitch streaming Mass Effect? Like you'd be playing an older version, but you might have more audience because then when the new ones come out and everyone's doing it, then you're kind of splitting the base.
I don't play it that way. I just stream what I want to stream when I want to stream it. I don't try to be like, I got to be the first one to play, the new Call of Duty or whatever. I find that if I'm doing it like that, then I'm just kind of forcing the content, and I'd rather just have it be more natural.
It seems like you have a pretty dedicated little group of followers too.
Yeah, and I mean that's always been my goal, right? Is to slow but consistent, or slow but dedicated growth. I'd rather build a small community than try to jump on every bandwagon and try to rocket my numbers up to hundreds of viewers that will flake if I play something they don't want to see, right?
Adriano, what's new with you?
Just buying a bunch of consoles, which I have no intention of keeping. I am currently looking at my brand new boxed Xbox Series S, which I've already have a buyer that is going to buy it fairly soon. I have a PS5 waiting for me at a alternate address, which I need to go pick up, which I'm going to try to sell for quite a bit of money. And then other than that, I played World War Z with you guys. I have dived into the complete Hearthstone progression revamp system, which got it was a big release yesterday. New Hearthstone came out yesterday. Biggest release of the day yesterday. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, biggest release of the day, Hearthstone revamp. Did some Overwatch and Borderlands with you. We did some at World War Z, and then I started a new quick game yesterday. You guys probably claimed it as well. It was a free one on Epic Game Store called The Texorcist.
I saw the notification for that, but I didn't actually download it.
Yeah, I downloaded and installed it yesterday. Oh, there's another game I did play quickly. I'll get back to that one. Texorcist. I very much enjoyed it. I have one small complaint about it. The gimmick is that you're a priest that goes around doing exorcists, but it's a typing game, and everything you do in the game has to be typed in with commands.
What the hell?
And well, not like actual commands, but like it would be like you're going to move over to your book, and to read the book, you have to type open, and then open the journal. You have to go in order to go use a toilet in your apartment. You go up to and you type in use or whatever, and then to as you're doing the exorcist, and then there's like your Bible verses are coming up at the bottom. You're typing those in, and so your little 8-bit demon that's spitting shit at you. You have to dodge them, and then you have to type in your commands. I understand it's a very basic game. It is like normally like a $20 purchase or $25 purchase, but it has virtually no options. When you boot up the game, you go start or continue if you have a save file, and that's it. There's no options. There's no way to change controls. And one of my complaints with this, and it was actually I was dying a couple of times because of this, is if you guys were to lay your fingers over your F and J key as you would and you're going to type, movement is done one of two ways. You can move your character by using the arrow keys with your right hand, or you can use WASD, WAS. You can use that if you're holding the shift button. The problem is if I use my pinky, let's say, to press and hold the shift button, I have to shift my 3 fingers over to use ASD and W to move. And you're getting in some pretty fast fights. Like you're trying to dodge and type at the same time. So you're constantly, if I'm using WAS to move, like I'm having to shift my hand back and forth, and it does fuck up my typing. Like I find myself being misaligned with my keys sometimes. Or the other ways, I leave that where it is, and I lift my right hand to go to the arrow keys to move, and then I try to go back to the J key. And I'm not finding either one to be incredibly satisfying. And I wish that there was just like a simple option just to change movement, because then I would change movement to E, S, D, and F, and I don't actually have to lift that hand. Mm-hmm. So it's a fun little game that has I've always kind of wanted to find like a typing game, and when I saw like, oh, I love demonology and all that shit, I thought this would be fun. But I am finding just the utter lack of options to be kind of annoying, where I can't even just change the basic movement keys.
You'd think that'd be something that would come up in playtesting that they would have like realized.
Playtest, yeah, it's possible, but I also have a feeling that this is probably a single guy in his basement developing this game. Like that's how basic and streamlined it is.
Fair enough.
So unless I like cheese it on my own on like the system level to change the key, like I could probably do that with my keyboard. Other than that, it was fun. And then the other game that I played quickly, I started and finished it in one night, was I finally played the Onimusha remaster on Steam. I had like 3 hours to kill the other night. I said, fuck it. I know I can beat this game in 3 hours. So I booted it up and I ripped through the whole game. And then that game's fun. That takes me back to my childhood.
was gonna say you must have played it before then. If you're just
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, I'll just rip through this thing in 3 hours.
The Onimusha franchise was my franchise on the PlayStation 2. Like I grew up with Resident Evil on the PS, the original PlayStation console, but then when I went to PlayStation 2, it was Onimusha through and through. And then the Devil May Cry games I played as well. Like I was a very heavy Capcom player for that for those 2 generations.
Do you still play the DMC games?
I do intend on going back to them, and I have played. I never finished Devil May Cry 3. I owned several copies of it. I own it on several different ecosystems, and I've never finished it.
When did that come out?
That came out. That was a PS2 game, and I think that got HD remastered.
2005.
Yeah,
Oh,
like that's an old game. I think I own that game like 6 times over somewhere, disc and digital. So I do tell myself I'm going to go back and catch up on the Devil May Cry franchise. You can hold me to that. You know, I always follow through on the games I say I'm going to play, guys. You know that.
Yep, Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
All right, Matt, what's new with you?
What's going on?
Actually, tell us about your console experience.
What's up, bud?
What's going on?
I'm my nose is running like crazy here. I beat another single player game. I beat Rage 2.
Oh, yay!
Rage 3?
No, not Rage 3. Rage 2.
Okay.
That hasn't been leaked by Walmart Canada yet.
Christ. God damn it. But yeah, I beat Rage 2. I think we were playing 76 the one night, and you guys hopped off. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and like play a little bit of Rage, and hit that last level and just beat it. Last level was really challenging. Took me maybe like, I don't know, 5 times or 5 tries, something like that. And I had did a bit of grinding out in the world. So there's like these things out in the world called arcs, and that's like a staple of the Rage series, right from like the very first one. And how they work in this game, and because I don't remember how they work in the other one, but you basically find them and you open them, and then you get either an ability or a weapon out of them. So I think I'd gotten 9 of the 12 just from normal exploration, and the map is massive. And then I had done like a fair bit of the icons all over the map, and done quite a bit of the weapon upgrades and those type of things. So I was like really kicking ass in regular missions. But was like surprised, like the challenge of this last one was really difficult. So they added like enemies in combinations that I've never seen before, which was like the biggest challenge. So Rage is one of those games where you're running around super quickly, you know, melee this, smash this other thing over here, go do like a force push over here, pull this weapon out, use its secondary fire to like blast you over to the left, and like a whole bunch of like just crazy, really rapid shooter sort of mechanics.
Is it comparable to the Doom shooting
yeah.
mechanics? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Doom Fallout. It's like a Doom Fallout Borderlands type of vibe I get from it. It's sort of like it's the craziness of Borderlands with a wasteland that's like Borderlands, but it's like I get Fallout vibes. It's probably because it's Bethesda, and then it's like Doom in the shooting and stuff like that. So like so I would say it's sort of a combo of that. But yeah, I had a really good time. So they added like some really interesting combinations of enemies at the end. So they had like these big guys that would fire mortars, and they would like fly up in the air, so you couldn't get to them with your like sort of on the ground abilities. But at the same time, they were also shielded, so you couldn't just shoot them out of the air. But at the same time, they added these little grunts that would run around and like try to like punch you and stuff. So you're like so basically the only strategy I found that worked really well was I would like run really, really fast, and no matter what I would do, I would have to run. So like obviously you kind of did that in the normal game, but you could like, you know, stop and then snipe somebody, or like stop and then like, okay, I gotta like go over here and like slide here and like all this other stuff.
But you found the only proper solution was to become speed.
To become speed, effectively, yeah. Like, I was telling Tim was
Sonic
like
the Hedgehog.
Yes, the like I was telling Tim earlier that like I was looking back at some of the footage, and like it literally looks like you're like I was even me, and I'm not like a professional obviously, but it's like I literally look like I was playing the trailer, because I like run over, smash this guy, then run over, smash this other guy, then like force push this guy, like swap weapons, fire like some mines over, and then run back over to the other guy, pull out a rocket launcher, see somebody else, throw a grenade, but then I can't stop because there's missiles coming, so I gotta like run over here. So yeah, so I had a really good time playing the game, beat it. So the last mission was maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes total. It took me longer because I had multiple attempts, but I'd say maybe 20 minutes total for the last mission. And yeah, I had a really good time with the game. I might go back and do some of the arcs and stuff, because there's some cool abilities and stuff that like obviously I can see like the slot for, but I didn't know where they were. But now that I've completed the game, it's a modern open world game, so I can go back and play it, and they've revealed where the arcs are now, so I'm able to like sort of get those last 3 or 4, however many I have left there. So yeah, I might do that, but I mean I have most of the upgrades for my weapons and stuff, and I can kick ass that way, which is nice because I was getting my ass kicked there for a long time. So, but yeah, it was a really fun experience. I hope there's a third one because I really did not. I really liked. I'll say this: I really liked the first one, but the first one dragged on, and I remember getting the first one years and years ago on PS3, getting through like the first like sort of tutorial area, getting to the first city, sort of more or less beating the first city, and then getting to like this other place that was like some futuristic place, or it was up in the sky or something. I can't really even remember. And that was like another city, and then just like having the gameplay loop sort of happen again. Whereas the strength of this game is that, so there's I mean this is like getting into spoiler territory a little bit, but it's like there's three people that you sort of work with, and they each have what they call projects, and if you do stuff for them or do stuff that they encourage, you can upgrade their like project tree and like get benefits and stuff like that. And so if you like go and clear out, yeah, so like if you like clear out gas stations, then like this person will give you points toward their projects. If you like clear out arcs or clear out this or whatever, then this person will give you benefits. And so the gameplay loop becomes basically, no matter what you're doing, you're constantly progressing, rather than the game kind of in Rage 1 was like this big drawn out thing where it was like the game's like almost like a linear game, but you have to grind on the side, but that's not progressing the story. And this one, I didn't get that vibe, and there weren't like a ridiculous amount of story missions. So I basically did the story, got stuck, went and did some grinding, got way more powerful, and like did that maybe 2 or 3 times until I was like, felt confident to beat it. So, but yeah, I had a really good time with it. I'm finally getting through some single player stuff, which is awesome. But then in addition to that, I got a Series X and a PlayStation 5. Series X arrived as of recording this yesterday, and that was kind of late. So it arrived on PS5 launch day, and I got my PS5 today, so a day after its launch. I haven't opened the PS5 yet. I'm backing up my capture gallery, which is obviously going to take a while, and then I'll decommission the PS5 or PS4.
You know what I should do, Matt? That reminds me. You should take the capture gallery and just dump it into Google Drive before they start putting that cap on the free photo storage.
Yeah, to be honest, that's a good idea.
Dump it in there before. Yeah, the videos are included. Like they have a giant list of formats, and like MP4s are in that free option.
Yeah, so that's not a bad idea. So
no, I have terabytes of photos and videos backed up through that.
So like because I'm gonna dump it on a drive. Obviously, like that's the one thing that sucks about the PS4, right? It's like you have to dump it on a drive, which I mean, it sounds like such a first world problem, but like when we're at the era of like, for my Xbox One, all I did was take the disc out and then just unplug it, get rid of it, plug the Series X in, boot up the Series X, do the install for the install, like for the day one patch for the OS or whatever they call it, do all the setup stuff, and then it was like, hey, you have settings from your Xbox One, do you want to use them? And I was like, yes, and it's like, okay, welcome, and that was it.
Yeah, I heard that people's like system settings get clouded now.
Correct.
That you'll just say, hey, this is what your other Xboxes look like. Do you want to just do this? I'm like, that's amazing. And I got to put in a fucking thumbstick into the PS4 to get a photo off there. Like, it's bonkers.
Well, it's ridiculous too, because like I get it to an extent. Like if you think about it, Microsoft is like more than they're in more than one industry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sony is too, but they're in sort of just consumer electronics. Microsoft's sort of everywhere. They're in cloud computing, they're in enterprise stuff, consumer stuff, whatever, right? They're all over the place. So Microsoft has, teams that they can reach out to and infrastructure that they can use, and they have years of experience with just straight up like IT management of all this stuff that like lends itself for them being, like my capture gallery on Xbox, it just slowly uploaded itself like normal, like, just in the background on my regular Xbox One, accessible in the app, accessible in the whatever apps on Windows 10 now. And like, if I want to see that stuff, I can just go pull it up on my phone if I want. Like, it's really not difficult. And like, that's sort of the beauty. And another thing it was crazy to me. So like the seamlessness of the Xbox, like,
it feels like you're taking a computer and like one of my buddies was asking me, like, you know, can I play all my old stuff? And I was like, basically the Series X is just like upgrading a computer. So I was like, you get another computer, you dump all your stuff on it, and that's it. Except that in this case, it just does it for you. So I was like, man, I wonder how this thing runs original Xbox games, because I was like, maybe it'll have some compatibility problems. I don't know. Like, I haven't read anything, but let me just try it myself. So I go and I boot up, of course, Mercenaries, and it just has my save data. I press continue, and I'm in the freaking game. And then I click a button and switch back to Gears Tactics, and it takes me to the exact spot where I was with Quick Resume.
I've heard the Quick Resume stuff with the Xbox is pretty fantastic. Like, depending on if you're doing what generation games, like the further back you go, the more you can have in Quick Resume. But like, there was one reviewer who was doing like 5 games actively and just swapping back and forth just to see in and out to see how it was going.
And what's great about that too is like, with something like Gears Tactics, it's like, you know, it's a slower game because it's a tactical game. It's a strategy game. So, like, you'll be playing it, whatever. And let's say if one of you guys jumped on and was like, let's play some COD, I can just literally hit the Xbox button, you know, go over in the menu, hit COD, go play some COD. And if you guys are like, oh, I got to leave for 20 minutes, something, use the bathroom, or I just got to leave for 20 minutes, I'll be back. I can literally just quick resume back to Gears Tactics, play a little bit of Gears Tactics, and then, oh, I'm back now. And then I can just switch back. Yeah. And it's, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, like, I get some people's complaints where it's very samey and there's not much like exclusives and stuff like that, but it's
not
very
much, not any.
Not well, I mean, like you can argue like Yakuza Like a Dragon, like it isn't on PlayStation yet and stuff, like however that's all gonna work. But yeah, you're right. Like there's no like Halo, you know, obviously, or there's no like Miles Morales in the PlayStation 5's case, which sucks. But yeah, like what a seamless upgrade, and like holy crap did I get rid of a lot of cables. Like I was telling you guys earlier, obviously you have like your power and your HDMI, but with the Xbox One it was like a power HDMI, second HDMI, big ass Kinect thing, a USB for my USB drive, and then another USB to charge my controllers, which I'm still gonna have to have, but another USB to charge my controllers. And then there was something else too. Oh, the LAN cable, right? So with the Xbox Series X, I literally like unhooked everything, and I was just sort of like cleaning up back there because I have a lot of stuff that's like unplugged, like the 360's still in it on a shelf, but I just had everything's unplugged, but it's just sort of like sitting there. So I was like, I'm gonna just clean this up. So I just slowly but surely cleaning it all up, anything that's not plugged in, and I cleaned up the Kinect, so there's no more stand on the top of my TV and stuff to like from with the Kinect sitting there and stuff like that. That's all gone. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go plug in the Series X. And it was so weird to like pick up one power cable, plug it in, pick up an HDMI cable, plug it in, and be like, that's literally all I need. Now, I did plug in a LAN cable just because my router's right there, but that's optional. Like, what a like a cleaner procedure.
Wait, was the power supply, sorry, I forgot. I missed that if you just said it. The power supply, is it independent or was it into the system?
It's in the system, so that's only a power cable. I will have one complaint with that. That cable's way too short. I had to like my so it's literally, so I have like a stand for my consoles, which is supposed to be like I don't know whether it's older or whatever, but it's like more or less supposed to have like different audio equipment on it. So it's like completely open pretty well for airflow all the way around. Even like the metal stands on the side to hold up the whole thing, they're even set diagonally. So it's like the shelves are like diagonally back. So like there's more airflow. And even the like supporting thing has a hole in it. So there's like airflow there. And then the back isn't like all covering. So like there's for cable management, but there's still like holes in the back, so that's for airflow as well. So like it's, you know, kind of really good for airflow. Obviously audio equipment gets hot depending on what it is. So like that's what I'm using, and I have it at the top of that, which is not even, you know, as tall as me. Like I don't know, maybe it's 4.5, 5 feet off the ground. This thing is, and like it couldn't reach a plug that was diagonally on the floor. I had to unplug some stuff and like reroute the wire around to get it to plug in.
So it's just a short ass cable.
It's just a short ass cable. Like there's nothing to, because the 360 or the Xbox One and the 360, to be fair, like they have a massive cable because they have that huge brick.
Yeah, but I would absolutely take a short fucking power supply cable as opposed to that power supply box.
Transformer.
That like
it was big. I have a whole shelf of them. I have a full shelf of them.
You could crack a window with that thing if you whipped it hard enough.
I'm surprised it took Xbox so long to get rid of that stupid thing.
But
so the cable's what, like 3 feet?
There is a repairability benefit, though. If that thing ever breaks, you could just buy a new one. Whereas if it's built into the system, it's a lot harder to do.
But to go back to what Matt mentioned about like PlayStation and like Microsoft having the infrastructure and the software. Sony's always been like a hardware manufacturer, so they're the ones who's made consumer electronics, so they would be better to kind of minimize that stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
How's Matt? What's your take on the controller?
Love it, absolutely love it. Thought it was going to be. So I have I purchased a couple new controllers like recently. So I have a new PS4 controller because I'm going to use that to play PS4 games on the PS5 because I figured the PS5 controller is going to be really expensive and I don't want to wear it out. And then I have also the PS5 controller, but then for the Xbox, I have a whole bunch of controllers because I use them on my PC and my phone and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I have 2 new controllers there. Like they're a year or less or just a few months old. So I have a couple new controllers and I thought I was going to be using those. That's why I mentioned them. I thought I was going to be using those for sure because I love my red like rubberized one with rubberized grips and all the rest of it. Picked up the Xbox Series X controller. That thing is amazingly tuned.
Like how the form factor is virtually the same. It looks like.
So the differences are, it feels a little tighter, but I don't know if that's just because my controllers are used. It feels a little bit just like tighter in terms of like it kind of feels a little bit different shaped. That might be just me, totally whatever. But because I also have like grips on my other one, so it's gonna feel a little bit different. But this one it's all textured. The back is textured. The triggers are textured. The triggers are nicer. Like the triggers are like a matte plastic with the grip, and so are the bumpers. So the problem with the Xbox One controllers was my bumpers would always break, and it was because they were like this. The only way I don't know how to describe it is it's like this glossy, flimsy plastic. And like there's been times, you drop a controller, it's a fucking controller. You drop a controller and if it lands on the bumper, it would get jammed. And to fix it, you would have to like pull down the trigger because they're on this like weird spring mechanism together. And then you just have to like crack open pop the bumper back out. And sometimes it wouldn't like sit right after that. Or even sometimes just in the box, it wouldn't be sitting right in my experience. And I've had to return like 6 controllers over the whole lifetime of the Xbox One because of the damn bumpers kept breaking. Whereas like these ones are all textured. They're super nice. They don't flex. The D-pad is different. The D-pad is now more like the Pro one as far as I can tell visually. I've never actually held a Pro.
That
too
one
loud.
Looks good. Yeah. Too loud?
Too loud. Click, 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 like that loud. Click,
Well,
click, 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 click.
Here's my Xbox One controller. This is the first generation. So this isn't even the Bluetooth one. This is like the actual one that comes with a dongle. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. So probably 3 times as loud as that. It is literally loud. Like it would wake somebody up.
I do find the Xbox. I do find the Xbox controllers to be louder than the PlayStation one. I will probably buy a Xbox Series, what are we calling a Series X or a Series S controller, just to have for PC, or go right up to the Elite. I don't know what they're going to do with those.
Are you playing that Xbox Series again? I told you not to play that after I'm trying to sleep. Click, 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 click.
It's like, Ryan, if you use it in the menus and you're rapidly trying to scroll down, it's freaking loud.
But you're supposed to use your Kinect. You're supposed to use your hands to browse.
I literally just decommissioned the Kinect. I literally took a picture of it on, like, it was flipped over. I'd finally gotten it off the TV, flipped over, all wrapped up, and I just took a picture of it, sent it to you guys, and was like, good riddance.
Can you, if you really wanted to, could you hook up your Kinect to your Xbox Series X? Is that even possible? Like, would it even
I don't think the plug is there.
I think we need to do a live stream.
Adapter?
You have for the Xbox One S, you had to get an adapter because there was no plug on the back of the Xbox One S. But you could get an adapter for a Kinect if you still had one from the original Xbox One. So
okay, no, it doesn't. It doesn't support it.
No, not at all.
No.
Ryan, what do you think about the controller or the system in general?
I feel, in terms of the controller, I agree with Matt that it just feels like the next generation of refinement on an already great controller. I do agree that the D-pad is loud, but I find it just a much better D-pad. It feels a lot more responsive. Like you can be like a lot faster on it than.
Does it feel like weightier, like made of a better quality material? And
oh yeah. The like I have both controllers actually in my lap here. The Xbox One D-pad is still pretty bad. I don't think I like that one at all, really.
Yeah, I do like the Xbox One controller. Like, I do feel like it is comfortable to hold. It's not too heavy. but I never liked the D-pad on that
Yeah,
thing.
D-pad.
It felt like cheap plastic a lot of the time. Like it was just yeah.
The PlayStation D-pads have always been my preferred ones.
Way better.
In fact, my rule is if I'm playing any sort of 2D side scroller or 2.5D side scroller on PC and movement is mapped to the D-pad in any capacity, I will immediately default to the PlayStation controller and use that.
Yeah. They've had the D-pad longer than Microsoft has, as usual, hardware manufacturer, right? So they've got more experience with it.
I think they did change the bumpers too on the Series X and S controller.
Do they feel less shit?
Yeah, they do, but I still prefer PlayStation's bumpers.
Really?
They just feel like actual buttons, whereas the Xbox ones just feel like you're just pushing a piece of plastic down.
It feels like it's part of the frame. Like it's just kind of molded.
Like you're bending it almost instead of actually pushing a button.
I kind of like that better than the PlayStation one, to be honest. I feel like when I'm pressing the button on the PlayStation 4 controller, it kind of like almost rocks a bit too much. It feels like there's not enough of a binary input, where with an Xbox controller, it definitely feels like it's either you're pressing it or you're not. You can't like rock the bumper. At least in my experience, I don't know.
The bumpers are a little small on PS4. I don't know if that plays into that too, Tim.
Has anyone have any experience with that officially licensed like third party PlayStation Pro controller at all? Did anyone get any?
Oh, by Astro?
Yeah.
That controller is $240 Canadian. I was not dropping that much money on a controller.
Okay, let me dial that back. Does anyone have any experience with the add-on paddles for the PS4 controller that Sony released a little while ago?
No.
For like 3 months? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Wait, they released them for only 3 months?
They didn't make that many.
Yeah, and it was like at the tail end of the generation. It was like, okay, you guys are already announced a new console and a new controller. It's like, why?
One of the speculation was that maybe the PS5 controller would have had it built in, and you would need it on the old DualShock 4 for compatibility.
Yeah, but that didn't even end up being the case.
But now you can't even use a DualShock 4 on a
You've
PS5
never been able
game.
to use an old controller for new stuff, though.
Sorry, what?
You've never been able to use like forwards compatible controllers with new stuff, though.
Until the Xbox One to Series X, yeah.
You can on the what was it? No, on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2, you could.
Could you?
Yeah, you could have plugged in a PlayStation controller to the PlayStation 2.
I guess they were kind of just the same port.
It was
right?
the exact same plug. The only difference was the PlayStation 2 ones were light. Like the actual controller was lighter. They took some of the innards out. But yeah, I remember playing 2 players with my brother, and he had the old PlayStation controller. I had the PlayStation 2 controller.
I mean, how many generations of consoles, and there's only now 2 instances of it?
I had to dig down deep for that example.
Yeah, it's not a thing until now.
I think when I buy a new controller, if I go with the Xbox controller, it would be I'll just do the Elite. What's it called? With the paddles in the back and like the customizable parts. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I think both consoles have a decent controller now. Like I think we're reaching that point where like this will be kind of it going forward.
All we need now, though, is for PlayStation to conform and change their button layout to X, Y, A, and B, and then we can all have unity.
Or it's not that I don't agree with it. I don't think it matters that much.
It doesn't. Absolutely doesn't.
Also, Nintendo's is like not exactly the same either.
Yes.
Everyone's all different. Nintendo's been the same all the way back to the NES. They've always had their buttons mostly the same layout. Even with the GameCube, it was a bit of an abstract for the GameCube controller, but it was still the same thing. Still the same button, same layout.
And also
everyone else that ripped off Nintendo.
So the thing though with the PlayStation shapes that they use is it's also just part of their design element. Like they're loading symbols on like when you load a screen on PlayStation, they use those as the loading. It's part of their brand, design. Yeah. So that in order for them to get rid
texture of the grip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw some stuff on Twitter this just the past couple of days, specifically around the PlayStation like X and circle and square, or cross and circle, I suppose.
Fork.
Because fork. Because of in Japan specifically, they have the like menus where they say like press X to continue or circle to cancel, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Which in North America for us is like that's the standard, but in Japanese like symbology, circle is always okay and X is no. So Japanese consumers that were getting the PS5 doing the setup for the first time, and it says like advance X, go back circle, and they're like, wait, what? No, that doesn't make sense.
They changed it for that. They unified it across the globe.
So there was one user on Twitter that I follow for like Monster Hunter content. He's like he was ranting about it, and then he's like, I called my daughter into the room, and without like mentioning anything, I was just like look at this startup screen for the PS5, and she just laughed, and he's like, what's funny? And she's like, are they kidding? That doesn't make any sense.
Why did they have to unify it? Was it that big of a deal to have a country be different?
I don't know.
It's especially funny with Sony being a Japanese company that they prioritize the like North American layout.
Yeah, but they probably sell a lot more consoles in the West than they do in Japan.
There's the thing, right? Is you comparing your international sales versus sales in one country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like in the UK or anywhere else, where is the what is the standard there? Is it X to continue?
The confirm button on every controller, regardless of the symbol, is for most of the time is the bottom button, whether it's A or X.
Right. Okay.
Unless you're Nintendo.
Unless you're Nintendo or. But that's the craziest part though is on Nintendo games it is system level, it's always B to confirm, but the game can change it. Like I've on the system level I've hit B on the tile to start the game, but when I'm in the game it's A to confirm and B to cancel out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That is fucking confusing. That is messes me up.
That's Dark Souls on the Switch, and that's why I can't fucking play it, because it says you're in the Switch menus and you're hitting A to go forward and stuff and back and whatever. And then when you're in the game, it's like press B to continue. I'm like, who the fuck presses B to go to advance?
Yeah,
what?
I'm more curious to know if like when Japanese players hold the controller, like where does their thumb rest? Does it rest on the X or does it rest on the circle? Because like it makes sense if you're going to present options, and most of the time those options are to your players are going to be to confirm or to move forward. Like if their thumb naturally rests on the X, then I would say yes, it makes sense to change to confirm to X, because then you don't want to move your thumb to hit confirm and then move it back if that's where you rest it. Like can you imagine if we just rested our thumb on the circle?
That's weird.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. But if that's the way that they rest their thumb, then they shouldn't have changed it. But if they do rest it on the X, then yeah, by all means change it.
What's funny is like it depends on the controller for me. So if I grab my Switch Pro controller here, just because of like the way that I know Nintendo games go, if I'm sitting here, I'm holding my Switch Pro controller, my thumb naturally goes to the right side button, which is A, because on Nintendo consoles it's that way. But if I grab like an Xbox or PlayStation controller, yeah, it goes to the bottom.
That's absolutely fascinating.
It's just muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual console, I haven't really had much time to play it. Because there's
you're talking about the Xbox or the PlayStation?
The Xbox. Because I guess I could have saved Assassin's Creed for it if I really wanted to start playing some new games on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so in the PlayStation realm that I got it for that.
That was going to be one of my questions to you, which I'm going to ask anyways, but I know what your answer is. What is going to be your primary console?
PlayStation.
Matt, what is going to be your primary console?
I don't know, actually, to be honest.
Ooh, controversy. So I was thinking about this as well, and I have right now I am the owner of both consoles. So I'm going to very soon have neither console, but right now I have both consoles available to me. And I was thinking about it. I'm just like, what would I treat as my primary and what would I treat as my secondary? And I think I would decide that the Xbox Series S would actually be my primary console, and I would play anything that I would be playing, first player or like single player or Game Pass stuff obviously would be there. And then only things that I have to play or I play with you guys would be on PlayStation. I would actually treat the slightly inferior console, the Xbox Series S, as my primary, as opposed to the as opposed to the PlayStation.
Well, I was going to mention that is that the reason why I'm on the fence is because like I play where like someone is playing. So if like someone wants to play on the computer, like we've been streaming on the computer, so like whatever, I'll play there. If Nate and my other friends want to all play on play some COD, they all want to play on Xbox, and I'll just jump on the Xbox. It doesn't bother me. If you want to play Fallout 76, we're on the PS4. Again, like doesn't bother me where I am. But in terms of where I would play like a single player game, or where I would buy like AC Valhalla is a good one. I'm really interested in that, although I do want to wait for some patches.
Yeah, that's right.
But like, because I just don't want another Unity experience. But I am interested in AC Valhalla, and like I'm just like seriously considering like which one would I go for, because realistically, like I think it's the biggest thing is Game Pass is changing me. Not that Valhalla is going to be right on Game Pass right away, but it might just become the driving force for my single player experiences, and then I might just end up like, why wouldn't I just go all on the Xbox for single player then?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I'm invested in the Xbox subscription service already. And like I've always kind of leaned towards the Xbox ecosystem as opposed to the PlayStation one. So I feel like that would be like my primary console. And then the PlayStation would be the secondary. Because like right now, as of now, I can't move my Overwatch progress over. Like that is locked to the PlayStation. And then you have your exclusives like Demon Souls or Last of Us or Spider-Man or Gran Turismo, because like I'll fucking give PlayStation that. Their exclusives are top notch. But yeah, I think the Xbox would have been my primary one. And it's white.
Oh, well, both your consoles are white.
Yeah, but but the X is I'm looking like just the box itself of the Xbox like that comes in is just a nice looking box.
Well, I'm wondering how much I'm gonna use the So like the other day I was thinking, or like yesterday I guess. So I booted up Gears Tactics because it's sort of like the first. Yes, I know it's available elsewhere, but it's sort of like the first like next gen game I'm getting on there, right? And I've never touched it at all. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in this, and I played it, and it looks really good, and it's fun to play. And I just, the way it, it's a strategy game, so the way I was seeing it, as I was like, I'm kind of surprised this isn't a mobile game. And then I booted up just the Game Pass app during some point in the night, and I was like, oh, I guess it kind of is a mobile game, because I can just play it on the cloud. Like, I never really thought of that.
Is it co-op or multiplayer at all? Because I was actually that's on my list to play.
I want to say it is, but I don't know for sure. Because the reason why I'm hesitating is because there's two campaign modes. One of them is like with a bunch of new like loot stuff and with Jack and all this other stuff. And then there's like the classic mode. And there was something else, just from memory, that was blanked out for me. And I'm wondering if it was multiplayer because I hadn't done the tutorial, but I don't know if that's right. Because I'm still in Act 1. Like I've just played this thing for fun more or less at this point.
Well, you got to catch up on the other games of the Gears. You and Ryan got to play Gears 4 so we can all play Gears 5.
I mean, I got to do Judgment, Christ. But
Judgment.
One of the things that I said before was that I'm super interested in the Gears world before it was like Gears, if that makes sense. Like I'm interested in just that world in general.
The pre-Locust world.
The pre-Locust world, and this game gives you a glimpse of it
before E-Day.
Before E-Day is right. Well,
actually, no. I think Judgment is right after E-Day.
Right.
It's been a long time since I played that game.
Judgment overlaps with another game. I don't remember which. I think it's the first game. Like I think it's pretty much like an alternate scenario to one of the other Gears games. Like you follow Baird's scenario.
Yeah, actually, that
and I don't remember
right.
which one.
I think Marcus isn't in Judgment because he's in jail because he's imprisoned at the first beginning of the first game.
That's right.
And this game, so Gears Tactics starts. I don't know if this is a spoiler. No, this wouldn't be a spoiler. It's right at the beginning. So Prescott gives the order for the Hammer at Dawn to eliminate the Locust, and we all know how that went.
Collapse the city.
I'm gonna be honest with
they
you.
glass the planet.
Hack the planet.
As
Matt,
far
I'm
as
gonna be
as
honest
far as
with
I
you.
understand it.
I'm a huge fan of the Gears of War franchise, but I'm not a fan of it for story in any capacity. For me, that is just a mindless shooter that I just play whenever there's a new Gears game.
See, I thought that too when I was first getting into it, but the lore of Gears is actually fairly decent.
It's super interesting.
Extensive.
I couldn't recite to you a goddamn story beat worth shit from any of those games.
Do you know what it did? You know what did it for me was like I remember I went in.
Resonator.
Christ, we gotta fuck that. That's so iconic to the first game. It's like
we need to deploy the light mass bomb.
I like how that guy also has like the most like stereotypical general voice ever when he's ordering him. Yeah.
God
but
damn it, Phoenix!
Is it the second? I was gonna ask you, Tim. Is it the second game where you go into one of the cities and you enter like maybe the first game and you enter like a courtroom or something or like a temple or something? And that's when I was like, Jesus Christ, this game is like pretty like cultural. You know what I mean? Like this game, like everything's ruins, but this particular room isn't. And I was like, what was this place like before?
I think that's the first game because the second game is largely underground because you actually you bring the fight to the Locust.
Christ.
In Gears of War 2.
There you go, Matt. There's a shit ton of books and comic books if you want to get into that.
There's a lot of graphic novels and stuff. One of the people I used to work with, she's like huge into Gears graphic novels and stuff.
Gears of War Aspho Fields.
Asso Fields, yep.
Asso Fields. That's a very funny title.
That's the battle at Aspho Fields was what Marcus Phoenix was the battle at which he defied orders and then got court-martialed for.
And then there's some comic books as well.
There's the very little Gears tidbit for you there right at the beginning of Gears 1 when they after they break him out of jail and you're flying in the helicopter and he's with Anthony Carmine and sitting next to Marcus and he's like, wait a second, you're Marcus Phoenix. You were at Aspho Fields. That's so cool. And Marcus is like, what does he say? He's like, not if you were there or something like that.
Such a Marcus response.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. No, it isn't. Okay.
I've always wondered, like, this is like a weird thing, but it's like all of us have like days where we don't feel well and we just like stay in bed because we're sick. Do people like Marcus Phoenix ever like get sick in the field? Because they literally fight what seems like actual years. It's like, we're about to start the fight. And then they're literally in the war for like 18 years, it feels like. And it's like, Jesus Christ, aren't you tired? Like, do you have a headache, bud? Do you want to lay down? Like,
I think your entire existence is just pain at that point. We have a lot of freedoms and liberties that we take for granted here living in a free country.
Matt, heads up, I may have just lost my my local recording.
Alrighty.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
Sorry.
It might be back. Well, you'll have to look through it. It might be all fucked up. Oh man, that was weird. That was the time 56 minutes. I'll have to note that.
So Matt, you haven't touched your PlayStation 5 yet then?
No, I got it today, and then I cleared off my desk, and like I was installing a Google Nest Hub today. I was playing with that a little bit.
On PS5 launch day, you're playing with a Google product?
My freaking capture gallery's backing up. It's literally nothing but time. Like, I literally just have to wait.
You were saying that you think the power cable was short on the Xbox.
Oh no!
I think that the HDMI cable is a little short on the PlayStation.
I kept my old Xbox One HDMI cable and I'm gonna keep the other one as well just because my equipment's a little older. And then when I get a new TV, then I'll ensure that I use the proper like 2.2 or 2.1. I think it's 2.1. Yeah, 2.1 HDMI cables. But for now, I'm not gonna reroute all that wiring.
I feel like you should never use the HDMI that comes with the console.
But I can tell you right now, Mr. Johnson here exclusively uses those HDMIs that come with the console, and those get packed away with the console. Am I right, Ryan?
Absolutely correct.
Yes. Read you like a book.
They've actually suggested that you use the cable that ships with it.
That's because of the I'm sure, like, I haven't like done my research, but I would assume that it's because those cables are the 2.1, which support like the HDR and the 8K, the 4K, whatever.
Yeah. The only time I ever will try to keep the cable with the console is if it's specifically branded with it. If it's like Nintendo HDMI cables or branded Nintendo cables, So I'll keep it with that. But if my PlayStation, my Xbox Ones are just black cables, no, those are going into the pile. Those are up for grabs in my opinion.
I have an Xbox One branded cable
Do you have
connected to my Xbox Series X.
Please don't tell me you have an Xbox One launch day HDMI cable.
That's
or
correct.
that is a like is it actually branded Xbox One launch day?
Oh yeah.
Wait,
An HDMI cable, like the actual cable.
Well, it doesn't say launch date on it, but
that's what I'm wondering.
It's an Xbox brand. It's an Xbox branded Xbox One.
Oh yeah, I figured that. I thought maybe because remember there's a day one achievement for Xbox One.
Yeah, I have that, and
I
also have the day one controller as well.
Can you imagine if they tried to fit all that onto the cable? Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox One, day one.
So
that'd be a waste of money too.
Quick questions for the Xbox One X people.
Series X.
Series X. Oh god damn it!
And herein lies the issue.
Yeah. Are your consoles standing up or laying down?
Definitely laying down.
I wish they were standing up.
Why don't you stand it up?
I don't have room to stand
Oh,
up.
right, your stand. Ryan, your PlayStation, what's the orientation on that?
Same situation.
So how's the UI and how's the interface on the PlayStation?
So it's taken a while to get used to because there's certain things that they change, like holding down the PlayStation button to get that quick access menu. It doesn't do that anymore. And so whenever I want to close a game or something like that, that's not how you do it.
Wait, did they get rid of that menu again? That overlay again?
There's no overlay menu. The main menu.
Every time. then in 3 years they'll fucking add it again.
Wait.
Every damn time.
No, the point is because the main menu is now it
Just
operates fast enough
Yeah.
that you can access it while a game is running.
Oh,
So
That
you
makes
don't
sense.
need a quick menu anymore.
it's like saying that's like saying we don't need the Xbox game bar. We can just go back to the desktop.
But so when you hit the PS button, it basically takes you to your game page and your media page where you can access your Netflix and whatnot, right? So if you want to close a game, you just tap it. You don't press and hold the PS button, and then you hit options and then close.
That feels like it's a few extra steps.
Yeah, it is.
Are you supposed to leave them open for quick resume? Is a question or something similar?
Yeah,
Probably.
I imagine you closing a game now is not actually supposed to be a regular occurrence.
That's what I was
Probably.
thinking. They're making it
Although
more
I don't
steps
think
'cause it's not.
I don't think
typically,
PlayStation
yeah.
has that quick resume where you could have 4 or 5
No,
games like the Xbox does.
based on the reviews that I read, it was just one. Like it can support one
Yeah.
quick resume, while the Xbox can go up to 5, or more actually, depending on how far back the games are. It's
So-
it's like a scaled thing.
To access some of the more social functions like your groups and whatnot, or even your notifications and downloads, I think that's the press and hold, and then that shows up.
Have you installed? You said you installed stuff, right?
I installed a bunch of stuff today. I got a lot done.
Okay. Have you installed something that has a multiple PS4, PS5 version?
Yes.
Okay. As a user, how do I on a PlayStation determine which version of what game is being installed?
So it does say what version it is on the little icon.
Oh, okay.
But I had bought Watch Dogs Legion on PS4.
Okay.
And so when I went to go download it on my PS5, all I could see was the PS4 version. And I'm like, I don't want that. I had to go to the store, search Watch Dogs Legions, click on it, and then click on a PS5 upgrade button. Once I did that, it allowed me to download the PS5 version.
Okay, so I'm genuinely curious to know that if you could do that upgrade in a browser ahead of time, and then you enter your game collection on the PlayStation 5, if it would then show the PS5. I'm wondering if it just didn't have that license yet.
I believe that's the case.
Okay.
Which one did you pre-order? Did you pre-order so far back that only the PS4 version was there? With a free
For Watch
upgrade?
Dogs Legion?
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe that's
no.
the reason.
No, but
I didn't have access to the PS5 version when pre-ordering from my PS4.
No, but here's the thing though. If I go and buy Watch Dogs now, if I go into
You
the
get
place,
the PS5 version, yes.
it's just one transaction. I get both of them.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you get the PS4 version if you buy the PS5 version though. I'm not certain on that. I don't know.
Why not just give both?
It might be the case. I don't know.
It's interesting. It's going to be like interesting navigating these like, I mean, admittedly simple, but yet several and can be intricate little things.
I think it's going to take a little while, and maybe like there will be a quality of life upgrade on probably because like the Xbox One is essentially the same OS, right? It's just they essentially just took they're giving you better hardware, but just the same OS.
I literally like, okay, the Xbox Series X is so simple that I like went in and was like, okay, I want to download Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare was the last game that I played on my Xbox. So when I booted it up, because I had synced my settings for the first time, nothing was installed. It was like Modern Warfare, like right away, Modern Warfare was selected, and I was like, oh, I should install this, and I just clicked install, and that was it.
Okay, and then because you said, Matt, when you launched a game on Xbox, like it just had your old save, like it was like from what I can see, the Xbox is smart enough to just say, here, everything's in the cloud, like it's just kind of operates in the background. It just pulls down what you need. It runs the save, and then it kind of puts it back.
It is insanely, like, especially at this point anyway, like, because Xbox has that whole thing where their exclusives are going to run for at least a year or whatever on Xbox One and Xbox Series, or whatever that story is we covered a few weeks ago. Yeah. So, like, I don't know whether it's going to change, like, down the road in terms of save data syncing and that, but right now, like, basically what you do is you boot up a game, whatever it is, and then it'll, like, as it boots up in its first boot, a little, like, window pops up. It's like an overlay, and it's, like, syncs your data, and that's it. And it did that, like I said, for Mercenaries, which is an original Xbox game.
Really?
Like the whole game, the whole experience was so seamless, and I knew it was going to be seamless without much research, just because of how much I'd seen the Xbox, like sync to the cloud, the Xbox One, that I didn't even, like, care to back anything up. I was like, nah, it's probably in the cloud. Unplug, pack the one up, plug it in, done. It's all in the cloud.
Ryan, have you fucked around with any of the cloud save files transfers? Like, how are you dealing with this?
Yeah, so I didn't like verify that I needed to go and download my PlayStation saves. I just did it preemptively, and only for the games that I knew would need it. Like, obviously, Overwatch syncs, Fallout syncs over the cloud already on their own servers, right?
Well, I'm assuming that like all local, like the local save files for Overwatch and Fallout would be like controller settings. Like my custom controls that I set for my characters would probably have to be changed, uploaded. So. Yeah, like I imagine that shit won't roll over.
Right. Other than that, I've just been downloading kind of new games that don't have saves yet.
So what's gonna be your first major play on the PlayStation
5? Probably Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Are you going to wait for a patch, or are you going to actually play the whole thing?
I might actually, let me amend that. Probably Spider-Man.
Watch Dogs? Not Spider-Man. In there? Not in there at all?
Oh, Watch Dogs is downloaded, so I will get to it eventually.
That's a lot of game, dude. Holy crap.
Well, you just bought a new console. You better fucking use it.
Spider-Man's not too long, apparently, so I think I can get that out of the way.
Well, the thing I was telling Ryan was
that... into AC, though.
You what, sorry?
I do really want to jump into Assassin's Creed.
Don't you find like this? I mean, I guess you don't have this thing, but like I was talking to you where I said it's weird having a new console and for the first time ever not having like an actual pile of games to purchase, because like I would buy the discs for the Xbox One and prior, and so you know, it just felt weird. And then then when I talked to you, I was like, oh, you kind of do have a digital pile of games where it's like I'm just gonna buy them as either as they're on sale, you know, opportunistically, or when I'm gonna play them.
Oh yeah, I had 3 PlayStation 5 games ready to go before I got my console. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
see, I find like, I would be doing the transition. I do my transitions differently than you guys. Like, you guys have took all your old shit and you guys piled it away and you're downloading stuff and you're like ready to go. And for me, if I were to approach a new console, if I were to unpack these consoles and put them in, my philosophy is I'm going to leave my old one hooked up, and I move stuff over and I install stuff as I need it. So it's like I would play Overwatch on my PS4 until I know that I have successfully run Overwatch on my PS5 and everything's good, and then I would go and just remove it from my PS4, and then I would do the same thing and I would run Gran Turismo on my PS5 or PS4 until I successfully run it once on my PS5. And once I know I've done that, I would then go and remove it. And then I would like systematically just remove stuff from like the capture gallery, and then I would start shutting it down.
I was always 100% like you per gen. I mean, I guess it was only really one gen because I didn't do that with the PS2 to PS4, or PS3. But like PS3 to PS4, absolutely. Like I kept PS3 around. PS3 is still hooked up until yesterday. But what I'm doing this gen is I'm doing the upgrade and I'm not keeping the clutter. Like I'm not like the amount of times I've used my PS3 in the past year is not worth it. And most of the stuff's going to work anyway. So like the stuff that I would use anyway, because a lot of them are just PSN games now, or I can just rebuy them or whatever. And most of the games I've already beaten on the PS3. So I'm done with the PS3. Done with the 360, 100%, and I'm just going to rip out the cables. Because like if you go into the back of my entertainment unit where all the cables are managed, like the cables are managed, but there are so many that it just looks horrible. Like it's just a mess. And so I got to a critical mass point where I was like, I want to get rid of these cables. I know I'm lazy. So the new consoles are going to force me to clear out the Xbox One and the or clear out 2 console spaces basically, right, for each of them. And normally I would clear out in this case the 360 and the PS3. But this time I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. I haven't used the 360. I haven't used the PS3. That's it. I'm done. The PS4 and runs it. I'm just going to clear everything out and have 2 consoles, and that's it.
Excuse me. I actually should just keep my PS3 and the PS5 hooked up. Because if I have the PS3 and the PS5 hooked up, I, in theory, can run any PlayStation game. Because my PS3 is a launch backwards compatibility one.
That's a cool one, yeah.
So that I could just have those two and be like, any PlayStation disc anywhere will just run between these 2 systems.
There is one thing I'm going to have to check, and I might be able to check tonight, is that there's this odd little thing I do with my PlayStation where if I leave a game downloading, but I pause the download, right? Yeah. It'll pick it up in the middle of the night at some point and finish off downloading it.
This is your PS4? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's how I've been downloading games. It helps me because I don't have to remember to restart the download. Sometimes I don't want the download going because I'm doing other things before I go to bed, right? And so it just automatically starts the download at some point in the night. And it really helps me download these games on my horrible internet. I'm curious to see if my PS5 does that or not. Because it makes it trickier to download games otherwise.
It's such a thing that I wouldn't even consider because I'm just used to having like modern internet. It's a special case for yours, unfortunately. Yeah, it's horrible. I don't know. It's such there's nowhere on the internet that you'd be able to look up something like that because nobody is going to have the specific case of like, hey, I'd like to start a download for my game and pause it.
However,
but I got shitty internet and I have to wait until the middle of the night.
However, it would be nice if they had like a download setting to say download games between such and such hours,
like active hours, like on Windows type of thing.
Yeah, like Steam has that even.
The Windows active hours thing is fantastic. I utilize that thing so much.
I will say that the Windows, or not necessarily Windows, but like the Steam one makes sense because I don't know what the hell Steam does. But Steam, no matter what generation of computer I have or what NIC I have or what, it's just sort of like, oh, there's bandwidth here? Okay. And then just takes it all.
There is a very good, I'm going to try to find the video. I watched it a couple of years ago. There's a very good technical breakdown to why Steam downloads just fucking rip through them and why like stuff like PlayStation and Xbox is fucking suck ass.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video actually.
I can't remember the name. Like I would have to do some Googling before I find it or YouTubing before I find it. But there is a very good video explaining why that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It kills me too because today I brought my my PS5 to a place where there's really good internet, and I downloaded like 6 games in a couple hours.
This was your Hamilton place?
Yeah, and I'm struggling here at home to download 1 game overnight.
Just go park outside Matt's and hook.
I offered. Yeah. I said if you want, like I was like,
I remember
we did this before. We just literally get like a TV tray, temporarily set it up beside the entertainment unit because there's space there. Just leave it for a few hours, go grab dinner or whatever, and then just come back a couple hours later. Everything's done, and then back it up.
Oh man, let's go get Burger Barn while you download some games.
Oh, Hamilton's a hotspot now. We can't have you come to our neck of the woods.
I'll just come over there and lick some doorknobs.
Oh my god.
I don't know if that's
All right.
worse for us or you, or please consult a health professional.
Everyone else, in
Like
the city,
maybe just
everyone
don't
else
do
is
that.
worse off now.
Even Tim, who's not even in this area, just Tim's worse off now.
Everyone is now worse for you having said that.
All right. That's next gen, I guess.
Brian, what are you playing?
Current gen.
Oh, I'm playing a ton of stuff right now. I just started Spider-Man. I'm gonna start AC. I haven't touched Watch Dogs because I was saving that for next gen.
Current gen.
But you've been playing that hard still,
Current gen.
right?
No, I've been doing the updates.
So offended.
What the fuck? You've been doing the
No.
updates?
Oh, we finished the season in Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
That was a big moment.
It did take a long time.
Literally
Yeah.
the game that you are always playing and you forgot about it.
That's correct.
Okay.
You know, a game I didn't install on my PS5 was Avengers.
Ooh. The biggest flop. Somebody
Oh,
played the Avengers
no,
theme, but on
I
that
didn't
recorder,
even think of it.
the shitty one that's like boop, 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 boop.
Oh, your
horrible
cat
about it?
responded.
Is that the beginning of that game, like we played the crap out of it, and I noticed the like morale of the group as we had more problems each time we played it slowly fall. Like, oh, I can't play, I can't join you guys because I'm apparently not able to select a hero in the roster. That was a glitch we had all the time and stuff like that.
Because I do want to just play through that single player game, the single player campaign, just for the sake of saying I
I
played.
like the campaign.
Yeah, like is it a like? Here's the thing: if something happens and Square Enix says we're shutting down these servers because this isn't worth it anymore, do I risk not being able to play the main campaign? Like, how does that work?
I can't tell you for sure, but I would say probably not.
Probably not. What?
If the server shut down, I would assume that the single player campaign seems isolated enough that it would not be.
Okay.
There's
I don't
like
see
some
them shutting it down anytime soon either. I think
No,
you got a
because
good 2
there's
years.
enhanced versions coming out, right?
Yeah.
Are there that many games you can buy anymore that like the servers are down and that means you can't play anything of that game? Like if you go and you buy a physical disc of a game, is that even a thing? Except for maybe like a couple of use cases of like online only games from like the early PS3 era, maybe?
I suppose like if 76 shut down the servers, that you wouldn't be able to play that.
Well, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like the stuff that I play.
Because obviously there's like MMOs that you can't play anymore because the servers have been shut down. But I'm
Which
trying to
makes
think of like
sense.
any physical game that you could buy on disc that you just wouldn't be able to do anything with anymore.
Mag.
Aside from like these old... You see, Mag is actually what came to mind for me.
Right. God,
the
What
servers
a,
still
what a
bring it up?
title of a game. There's
Mag. You guys want to go home and play some Mag online?
Man, I played the shit
no
out
one
of
said
Mag.
that. Oh, sorry.
I played the living shit out of Mag.
Was it 120
always
people?
played Mag.
120 people? 112? I can't remember.
No, it was a lot. I'm gonna look this up.
Mag servers? You guys-
Look at that cover too. Holy crap.
I knew one person that played that game. Only one. And there was it was so good too because it was
256.
like it was 256
Whoa.
people. Yeah, 100 and
Received an award for the Guinness World Records as quote most players in a console FPS end quote with 256 players. On January 28th, 2014, the online servers for Mags were shut down.
Yeah, that's sad. I remember during like the prime of that game's I don't even know. Like I guess the prime maybe was like when it first came out, but like not even that many years after the game came out. I went to this friend's place and he's like, "Yeah, let me show you this game. It's got like hundreds of players online all in the same match." And like the biggest thing I'd ever seen before was maybe like I don't know, the 30 people in a game of Battlefield or something. So like 200 people is like, "What? No, that's crazy." And we go on and like it took like 15 minutes for him to find a match, and when he finally found one, there was like maybe 40 people in it.
Oh, oh man.
Do you know what? Do you know what Mag felt like? It was like those era of shooters on PS3 where it was like no matter how many players there were, certainly there were some crazy battles in Mag, absolutely. But in general, a lot of the matches were just open and no one was really doing anything. And I found the same to be for PlanetSide 2. Which I did enjoy PlanetSide 2. Again, some crazy moments, but PlanetSide 2, you could just like run around and like drive around in a Jeep and not see anyone for like a while. PlanetSide 2 Mag, as well as Warhawk. Warhawk, like you would just see nobody. I remember
was
like
weird,
winning
man.
Warhawk by literally driving a Jeep and just doing all 10 of the captures. And I was in a full match. I don't know what happened. But it was like those PS3 era, just like massively multiplayer online, but just like a 17,000 square kilometer map, so you don't see a single person.
It's you and 4 people. And now
Each with their own continent.
Oh my god.
Somebody play the Sad Avengers theme.
All right, let's hop into the stories of the week. Twitch has apologized for their poor response to the wave of DCMA takedowns. This comes from GameSpot.
DMCA.
They have it listed as DCMA.
That's not correct.
Frickin' GameSpot, eh?
Digital Millennial Copyright Act.
Look at they got it wrong twice there. Then in the later it had to have it DMCA.
DMCA, yeah.
Look at this.
Anyway, we corrected it. That's fine.
Well, I mean, we didn't correct it. We just simply said it.
Fuck yeah, I took out the entire Magic board. This guy lost all his creatures. By the way, I'm playing a game of Magic right now. Just heads up.
Jesus Christ.
So apparently, if you play recorded music on your stream, you need to stop doing that. It says a post on the company's official blog. If you haven't already, you should review your historical VODs and clips that may have music in them and delete any archives that might. They've also apologized through email to streamers about the frustratingly little information that they provided and the lack of content moderation tools that streamers could use to respond to these notifications. The company said that they were working on more tools, including ones that that can detect copyrighted audio. Now, I think Twitch streamers were freaking out, right, because they were worried about being repeat infringers and then potentially being terminated off of Twitch.
Well, yeah, because the issue was that, like, the strikes were being found in, like, VODs and clips and stuff, and it was going back through years' worth of content. So the thing about the DMCA process on Twitch is that if you get 3 strikes, you're done. So there can be people that have, like, you know, their entire livelihood has been based around Twitch for however many years, and then this algorithm could just go through, and it could pick up, you know, copyrighted, it could flag stuff. Through years of content, you could get like 60 flags or something, and that's well over 3. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, boom, dead. Your channel's deleted. Fuck you. There goes everything.
What took Twitch so long to kind of enforce this?
They were pressured by the sudden influx of copyrights coming in from this like third-party copywriting representative or company. I've actually got the email because they sent me an email about it, and they kind of gave some like background information on what happened and why they like basically why they treated it so poorly. So basically they said like they were like, so how did we get here? So until May of 2020, they have here in their information that streamers, it says streamers received fewer than 50 music-related DMCA notifications each year on Twitch. So I think that means in entirety, all of the content creators on all of Twitch, only 50 notifications roughly per year for DMCA. But then as of May, representatives for major record labels started sending thousands of notifications each week. So they've gone from 50 a year to 1,000 a week.
Wow.
So that's like, what is that, like 10,000 times more? 50 to 50,000? That's like 10, that's like a thousandfold, right?
Yeah.
And it was targeting everything, whether it was something that like stuff that they had archived, whether it was collections, highlights, clips, VODs, etc. years back. And they're still receiving that many. So basically they were saying, hey, here's the thing. If you don't want to get dinged by this, it's on you to go back through your stuff and delete anything that might get copywritten. So the reason that people were so understandably upset at the platform is because if you go to like almost any other content platform like YouTube or we'll just use YouTube as as an example, the platform itself has a fairly extensive and intuitive appeal or like claim appeal system, and anything to do with legal issues like that when it comes to copyright. Now YouTube isn't perfect either, but it's a hell of a lot better than what Twitch has in place. And when you have a platform that thrives entirely off of your creators, like Twitch as a platform, they don't really put out anything. They give people the tools to make stuff, and then they make money off of those people making money. So you'd think, even from a, like, not even a social perspective, but purely from a business perspective, they'd have a vested interest in making sure that all of their creators have the tools they need to most effectively do their job. Is not the case on Twitch. So the reason people were so upset is because they're like, hey, you basically just like threw us out in the cold here. They're like, hey, there's a significant issue that could affect your livelihood. You better go back and like literally shovel your way through literally thousands of hours of content and look out for anything that might get copyright striked, and delete it, get rid of it so that nothing happens to you. Where they should have had a process properly in place to not only educate their creators on what the hell the situation was that was going on, what Twitch was going to do as a platform to help them resolve it, and the steps that they could take in going forward. So a lot of my friends, a lot of people who have a vested interest in keeping their Twitch channel alive had to basically go back. They had to nuke a bunch of their content, and they've had to if they were the kinds of people that would play music in the background and stuff like that, like 99% of these claims that are happening are from music that's just being played in the background, either while people are just like hanging out and they're just talking, or they're playing a more chill game or multiplayer games or something with friends, etc. It's usually not streams where music is the focus of the stream. And it's just weird when like specifically in those examples for music centered streams, it's like, why wouldn't Twitch, instead of like dumping a bunch of money into trying to figure out how to resolve this issue and prevent a bunch of their creators from getting their channels severely infracted upon, if that even makes sense, why not invest the money into having the rights to a certain library of music? And Twitch does have a certain selection of music. They have I forget what it's called. I think it's called like something like soundtrack or something. Twitch has a small library of music that they have licensed. I think, yeah, Soundtrack by Twitch. But then they also recommend other cleared music libraries such as Soundstripe, Monster Cat Gold, Chill Hop, Epidemic Sound, and NCS.
Well,
at the end of the day,
like, when you're doing Instagram, what?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like with Instagram stories, like they have a library of music, like known music that you can access and use.
Yeah, that they pay for the rights to. Yeah.
So does TikTok.
Yeah, I'm surprised Twitch can't make a deal like that. Although I guess they're playing full songs on Twitch, right, in the background.
I don't think that it necessarily matters whether it was like 30 seconds or if it was the full song or whatever. But yeah, they do have a small library. It's called Soundtrack by Twitch. And then they have these other libraries that they recommend as well. At the end of the day, it's like, it's really not like going forward. It's not a big deal because people can just be like, yeah, we can find these, royalty free songs or licensed music that Twitch has or other libraries. The main issue here is that they basically were like, hey, remember all that content that you've made that has never been an issue up until now? Well, now all of it's an issue. And if it exists on our platform, you might be the one who has to suffer the consequences of it. So either risk that or just delete all your stuff. So that's pretty cool. And they just basically left everybody high and dry. So that's why people were upset about it. going forward, obviously, it's fairly simple to resolve or
I
prevent.
wonder what the
but
solution is, though, because obviously the VODs people can view indefinitely. Just because it happened when Twitch allowed them to play music doesn't mean it was legal for them to be playing that music.
Yeah, but they could have
And so
they could have did a mass private like video thing where they could have said, okay, sorry, we had to make all VODs hidden. They're private to you. They can't be viewed publicly, and you have to go in and republish the ones you want. So it still sucks, but that would then prevent you from being like, shit, I might lose my channel. Like, if they just did like a like, I don't know how much pressure they were getting from these people, like, obviously more, but I don't know, like, could they have made a deal where they said, hey, can we do, like, let's have a 3-year buffer or something, but yet, like, we start today with new content, but, like, old content, we have a 3-year buffer where we warn people or what, but the better way to do it, just off the top of my head, would be private all the videos, if that's even a thing on Twitch, but private all the videos, make it so that only the creators can see them, and say, hey, everybody, we had to do this sucks, whatever. If your content doesn't violate it, go ahead and republish it. Like, all the stats are still the same and whatever, but it's all old anyway, and you're still able to stream, and we didn't want to affect your channel. Like, that would be a much better way just to handle that if they were under, like, such duress, as it kind of sounded like they were.
I suppose they could have also developed tools to analyze those VODs and then just let the streamer know that, oh, this one might have some music in it, and we've made this one private instead of just doing like a blanket, all videos.
That's what I mean, is like, it doesn't make any sense that they like so quickly did it, like, unless they were under like some sort of deadline. That's what I meant by the 3-year deadline, is if they had 3 years, they'd be like, okay guys, how do we handle this? And, a mass private video thing would be saving people's, effectively saving their live streaming, saving their channels. And you could, put out a thing that literally says, we had 3 days to come up with a solution or whatever it was. Here's what we came up with. It's an emergency, so we had to do this. People are going to be pissed, but people aren't going to also go broke at that point.
Well, that's what this email is talking about as well, is like that they recognize that they were being pressured significantly, obviously getting all these claims all like on a vast scale. They only gave people like the option of either going through combing through everything and deleting the possibly copywritten parts, or deleting everything entirely, and that they only gave people a period of 3 days to do that. But they're also saying that they are still working to get better and more options out as soon as possible. So as far as that like privating thing, that could be something that they do in future. We don't know. They haven't really said anything beyond we're working on more ways to resolve this issue.
Well, I actually have a question. So they already had sort of a music thing where you would stream music live, and then in the VOD, a bot of some sort would detect that and then mute it, right?
Yes, that's still in effect, yeah.
So I guess my question is, what content is in violation if all that stuff's muted?
There's just because that bot does that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work 100% of the time.
Right.
So
is it like older stuff though too? I guess I'm wondering, is it like, was that bot only on for 2 years and there's older stuff, and what I mean?
That bot hasn't been a thing forever.
Right.
I don't know if it goes back that far. I can't check with my own stuff because obviously I'm only affiliated on Twitch. I'm not a partner, and affiliates and partners have different benefits. One of those benefits being how long your VODs stick around for. So unless you specifically like save a VOD and re-upload it again to like a collection on your Twitch channel, it only sticks around for 3 months. I think for partners it depends on what their arrangement is, but I think by default partners VODs are around for 5 months, 6 months, something like that. But yeah, either way, like there could be people who have taken their clips and re-uploaded them years ago that are still there. I don't know if the bot would necessarily check those.
Like scan those, like the highlights, right? Because the highlights you publish back into Twitch.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I feel like it's a situation that is extremely complicated, not only because of the legality of it, but because of the way that Twitch has handled it and is continuing to handle it. It's something that more development will likely come out within the next week or 2 weeks, and we might even be able to like possibly update and readdress the issue and see what Twitch has done going forward.
What's interesting is like, I feel as though, and like this is just like speculation at this point, but it's like Twitch is sort of like the king of streaming. Yeah, you could stream on YouTube, but like Twitch is certainly king of that, and then YouTube is sort of king of like watching just videos that are uploaded right anytime you want on demand. And it would be interesting to see, because I know you mentioned that YouTube has a system for this, but it isn't perfect. Whatever, I would be super interested to see what the system would be for these for these two services, should they have proper competition.
You mean in terms of them kind of meeting in the middle and Twitch having more on-demand content availability and YouTube putting more focus on live streaming?
No, I mean so right now it's like everyone's pissed off at Twitch, right? So let's just say I'm a creator. I go in there. I've been playing music hypothetically throughout my career for a few years. I have a good following. I rely on this income.
DJ Matt Lawrence.
Sure, and then I get I get hit by this. They delete my channel. Now my income's gone. I'm pissed, and all I can do is bitch at Twitch. I can't really go anywhere else. I could go to YouTube, but YouTube isn't the streaming capital of the internet. Like if there was another streaming service that was competing with Twitch, I wonder, and YouTube as well, like another on-demand video service. I wonder how much better these copyright tools would get, because if you think about it, say what you want about social media, but people that are on Facebook can leave and go to Twitter, can leave and go to Instagram. Yes, I know it's related to Facebook, but then can leave and go to TikTok, right? Like they could jump and be like, man, I got banned on Instagram. I'm leaving. I'm going to TikTok, right? Like there is a way, like they could be like, screw this company. I'm leaving. Or screw this, I'm going to Snapchat or whatever. But with YouTube, it's like, man, screw YouTube. And Vimeo?
Hell yeah. Newgrounds.com, baby.
You know what I mean? So there's not, I just wondering how much, competition would affect that part. Obviously, it affects the customer-facing part, but what about the creator-facing? I wonder if it would make it better and would have made Twitch not switch. Because I do remember people switching to some random service when Twitch pissed them off the first time a few years ago or something.
Well, that's why you go to Mixer.
Right.
I'll be honest, I could not think of Mixer's name until you just said it. I was trying to think of it.
Oh my god.
Oof.
And I was like, what the hell is that
That's
damn
rough,
Microsoft
man.
one
What
called?
about Facebook Gaming?
There's also Facebook Gaming,
Which is now partnered with Mixer, I guess, or
and Microsoft.
Mixer. All right, well, good luck, Twitch.
Just don't play copywritten music on your stream. It's pretty easy. And if you don't think you have the rights to something, just don't play it. There's such a vast libraries of music out there that are either royalty free or that, you can literally Google free music libraries and you'll find all kinds of songs in all different genres. Just play it safe. It's really not hard.
Are there some Twitch streamers who are angry that they can't play? They feel like they have the right to play other people's music?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's a really, it's funny actually. Sips did a bit of a rant when this whole thing, like a joke rant when this whole thing started to kick off, and everyone was like, "Oh man, Sips, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "No, you know what, man? I've been on this platform for years, and I've played music for years, and I bring lots of money into this platform, and it's how I make my living, and I feel I should have the right to do whatever I want with my content and create my content." And now they're going to turn around and hit me with some copyright strikes. I guess I could just, not play copywritten music though. It's one of those things where it's not that the issue is the problem. It's how Twitch has reacted to it and handled it that is what the problem is. It's not, it won't surprise anyone to say, hey, I don't have the rights to this music. I'm using it in my stream, which is technically my product. Yeah, it would make sense if somebody was like, hey, that's my music. You don't have the rights to use that and make a copyright claim, right? That happens on literally any kind of media out there. Happens on YouTube, happens in movies, happens in games. You have to have the rights to what you're using, right? But for certain things. So I don't think it comes as a surprise to anybody that Twitch is like, oh, by the way, like, we don't have the rights to this music. You don't have the rights to this music. You can't use it unless you want to risk getting copywritten. That's not what people are upset about. People are upset about the fact that Twitch basically was like, oh, this is an issue all of a sudden. We don't really know what to do about it right now. We're working on our own thing. So if you could just go ahead and just like wipe your slate clean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you don't do that though, you might lose everything. So good luck though. And everyone was like, dude, what the fuck? And then, so yeah, that's why Twitch has put out this email. Was it 2 days ago? That they're just saying, hey, so just checking in. By the way, we know that the situation's kind of fucked. We didn't handle it well, but we're working on it. But Twitch has a pretty spotty history with how they handle solutions or handle situations such as this. Anything with PR and involving representation of different groups or minorities or whatever, and just making horrible decisions that literally could have just been avoided by like having a test group before releasing an update, that sort of thing. Like, I don't know, they're really tone deaf a lot of the time. But when you're a corporation that big, also owned by one of like basically the biggest company in the world, it's hard to keep your ear to the ground on every issue all at the same time.
It's a little bit crazy that they have Amazon like backing them, right? And then Amazon has Amazon Music. Like,
it's almost like there's a connection that could be made there.
Like, obviously it's a different license and stuff like that. Like, obviously there's gonna have to be some sort of like talking to the music records or whoever does that stuff.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna say whatever's on Amazon Music should be rolled into the Twitch license, yeah, maybe. But there's fucking nothing on Amazon Music. They got a like, garbage selection.
But like, imagine if like, I mean, they have a garbage selection for a reason. If we assume that that's due to like bad, like, I don't know, bad exposure. Well, if all of Twitch starts using Amazon Music via some sort of like, you know, license thing that they work out, then all these artists who are like on TikTok and stuff will be like, fuck man, I want to be on these Twitch streams. I want my music seen. And then whenever like someone plays my track, it'll show up at the bottom of their stream probably or whatever. It's like, click here to buy or however that works.
Mm-hmm. They'd be really, I mean, from a user perspective, it could probably be fairly easy to implement something like that. And they are shutting down the Twitch Sings program January of next year.
Wait, the what?
So if you've ever seen any of the Twitch streams where it's basically karaoke, like people singing, that's Twitch Sings. Like, they have their own program that you can download that has that, all the like the songs and everything uploaded to it, the lyrics and the little animations and characters and whatever. That's all a Twitch operated software that is being shut down in January. Which people were kind of surprised about. But that being said, they were probably putting a bunch of money into licensing those songs and, like, you know, paying people to develop that software and make sure that app is running properly and efficiently and stuff like that. So some people are speculating that they were shutting it down and hopefully rerouting the funding that was going into that to licensing music. So theoretically, they could do something like you said, Matt, where they take those funds, amp up Amazon's music library, have some sort of Twitch integration with that, rebrand it as Twitch Music or whatever, or Music Live or Music Stream or something like that. And then, yeah, like you've said, if there's a song playing that people are using, like streamers are using at that time on their stream, it pops up either on the screen, underneath in the information, something like that, or even like at the top of chat or something. And it's just like, the song currently playing is blank, and then that song name is also a hyperlink. You can click that, takes you to Amazon Music, people can buy it.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, the fact that we've like, I mean, I know it's more difficult to do on the corporate level, but the fact that we've come up with like, you know, multiple solutions and variants of solutions just on this podcast, and not even on the whole podcast, kind of lends itself to like Twitch should have maybe thought this through a little bit more.
But that's Twitch's MO, and we've seen it a million times, and we'll continue to see it, where they either knee-jerk reaction to something, or they go into something without just taking a step back first and being like, okay, how could this be received? What's the worst way this could go? And they never do that. They just go, here's a thing, and everyone's like, dude, this is fucked up. And they're like, oh yeah, it is. Oh shit, hang on, let me roll that one back. Like they just literally keep doing whatever they want until there's pushback, and then they're like, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is fucked up." So,
All right. Our next story here.
Oh my
is,
god. Oh my god.
About,
let's do the time warp again.
Pause your PS5
I
down,
sound bad?
Brian. Now you sound fine.
I don't got anything going. Oh, okay. Fortnite is planning monthly paid subscriptions. This comes from Eurogamer.
Oh yeah, here we go.
When I read this, I had Matt's maniacal laugh in the back of my head, just playing.
So apparently they want feedback on this. Some of the prices being suggested are between $5 and $16 per month. What do you guys think about that?
That is
Now I got some bad news about this, and this is I don't know if this is tinfoil hat territory, but like there's evidence to suggest this. Obviously,
you're the one who fucking went to Epic headquarters and you told them, "Hey man, make it pay to play."
No. So we all know that like these games are fighting for our time, right? And so we got these seasons, right, that are timed, and usually, not always, you have to pay for them, and then you can join in the fun, whatever, earn your currency, earn your rewards, whatever. And oftentimes, as far as the season passes that I've seen, of which I've seen very few, in the grand scheme, you earn enough digital currency, and if you do not spend it within like said season, then you can buy for quote unquote free the next season. Therefore, starting the loop again of monopolizing your time. Now, Fallout 76 had done something differently where they have a free season, which also monopolizes your time, and then or tries to, like all these others, and you have to do daily quests, weekly quests, whatever, right? Different events as well in game that aren't related to the season, stuff like that. All these, like, it's a typical game that tries to monopolize your time. Fallout also has Fallout First, which is like obviously a subscription thing. This is where the tinfoil hat comes in. Did Fallout 76 / Bethesda open the door to people being like, oh, wait a second, we could monopolize their time and then make them feel even worse for not playing other games if we charge them per month in a subscription level format, but also have the season pass to keep them engaged. So now we've monetized them per month, and we've effectively monetized them per month again, potentially with the season pass, depending on whether the season pass is free or not.
I don't know.
Because if you think about it, the last couple of years are stagnant for, I shouldn't say they're stagnant, but since Battlefront 2, I'd say. Since around Battlefront 2, so like EA's Battlefront 2 or whatever, I would say that things have sort of quote-unquote stabilized into whether you have the old-school loot box system, old-school microtransactions, the newfangled Battle Pass, Season Pass system, or subscriptions are kind of coming back a little bit, although obviously there's some examples of those that have been going for years, like World of Warcraft. So I wonder, or a combination of those, of course. I wonder if we're starting to see game companies like, it's kind of calm now. So they're like, wait a second, we can't do loot boxes because like we might get sued or whatever. So let's not do loot boxes, but like let's see if we can charge them per month, because people are paying per month per games for Game Pass. So like, why don't we charge them per month for this particular game? And then you'll be like, man, I have to play Fortnite because I've paid $20 this month, $16 this month, $5 this month, whatever.
So, how do you feel about the items you get with your subscription? Like, how do you feel about the 76 one, Matt?
I do it because it's a time saver, and time is money.
So you don't care about the items or the atoms as much as just saving time?
The atoms is a huge part. If they took away the atoms, I probably wouldn't do it, because so my justification for Fallout First is like I play Fallout 76 a lot. I do the season, and the first membership like really helps me out with the survival tent and the scrap box specifically. Those are sort of the main things. But it also provides me with a fair bit of atoms per month, of which I would on occasion, not even every month, but I would on occasion purchase. I would go purchase some atoms. And to be fair, in the old system, so before the seasons, you could do daily and weekly quests to get atoms. And I know that like Marty would for example, not buy items in general. He would just do those challenges back then, and now like he would just do those challenges and then buy whatever he wanted in the store. Whereas the way I always looked at it was like, I want to play the game, like the way I want to. I don't want to do these challenges. So if I want something desperately in the store, I will just end up buying the items. But it has to be something like that I really want, and I have to really feel like I want to buy it. Like I'm not splurging all the time. So though, like all that compiled made it so that I bought the follow first stuff, and then the season locked me into doing the challenges. So they nailed me again. So
this potential Fortnite subscription will get you a monthly stipend of 1,000 V-Bucks, which is around $8 US, a free skin set released early to subscribers, and the current season battle pass. Now they're guessing you would also get the new battle pass every time it comes out. So
I would estimate that you will not.
I'm sorry. This subscription would get you the current battle pass.
Whatever battle pass is out. If you were to subscribe that day, you would get that month's or that season's battle pass.
Right. I would estimate that you would not get the future season.
They don't know if you get the future seasons.
It like in terms of my speculation, you would not, because I only bought one season in Fortnite.
But if this is a monthly
3 seasons.
But if this is a monthly subscription and they're charging you anywhere between your 5 and 16 per month, every time they charge you your 5 to 16 per month,
right?
Presumably you'd be getting that season's battle pass.
No, because the battle pass is a separate purchase that you purchase with V-Bucks.
Yeah,
So what you would do is you would get your 1,000 a month, and the battle pass lasts for more than a month. So you can either and the battle pass, assuming it is, it's been a while since I played Fortnite, but back in my day, when you used to play it, you used to be able to get well more V-Bucks in the season, and that like well more V-Bucks than the next season would cost in the previous season. So effectively, by getting a subscription, you're getting 1,000 per month, plus you're playing the season, and you're getting a bunch of V-Bucks. So then you have to save 1,000 or 950 or whatever it is to then buy the next season. I don't think that they would give you the next season. That's ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying that signing up for the month of November would give you the December season pass, the battle pass. But every month, like this is the keyword here is it's a subscription. Mm-hmm. You're paying this every month. Mm-hmm. And every month they would then give you that month's battle pass.
Well, the battle passes, just to be clear, are more than a month. But
I thought it was a monthly thing.
No, so that's what I'm saying is like, so within there, like, I can't remember how long they are, but they do tell you, or at least they did when I played. So like what it would be like you get, let's just say they're 2 months long. You would get 2,000 V-Bucks, and then like for subscribing, you would get your skin pack and all the rest of it. And then you would get, I don't know, let's just, again, to make it easy, another 2,000 V-Bucks in the season. So now a lot of people are going to go and splurge and be like, oh, I'm going to go buy the next thing. But then their subscription only gives them 1,000 V-Bucks again. So then they have to like effectively ration their salary in order to get the next season.
Also, here's the thing that, so I guess a lot of people are generally positive for a subscription. But other people are saying that 1,000 V-Bucks isn't all that much because uncommon shop items cost 800. Rare items cost 1,200. Epic items cost 1,500, and legendary cost 2,000.
Correct.
And those kind of cycle in and out of the shop pretty frequently. So if there's a item you like, 1,000 might not cut it.
How much is a battle pass just by itself?
I believe from memory years ago now. When I paid for it was $9.50.
It's pretty cheap, actually. Yeah.
Now let's roll this back a couple of weeks. Do you think this has anything to do with the ongoing war between that of Epic Games and Apple?
Might be a revenue thing.
I think they're just a company and they just are looking for paths to get more money.
Well, no, it might be a revenue thing to compensate for the fact that they've
lost a lot of users on iOS.
Correct. Yes, but I can see them doing this regardless. This is just part of where kind of, service industry is going, is they want that consistent recurring revenue, not just we hope people buy our items.
You know, it's interesting because there's like this. So, and this is maybe tinfoil hat again, but it's like they're starting this right now, right after this war with Apple. They again, speculation. They might have thought, we want to start this subscription that's going to make us millions. I don't want to pay Apple 30%. Let's start the war now. And then we'll win the war, was in their projections. And then I'll start the subscription.
I guess their subscription would have to be that 30% higher on iOS, right?
30% higher, or they would take a cut, or however they would work with Apple on that.
I don't think they were taking the cut before on just buying V-Bucks. I think they were charging more, right? On iOS?
I'm really
remember.
not sure.
I don't remember.
I don't recall for certain.
I should ask my nephew. He was all into Fortnite on iOS.
But like, this is it's just Fortnite and just 76, but like, this is a troubling potential trend, even though it's
are we old ass gamers, or like, is this just fine
Yes.
for the new kids and we're just old?
It's not fine in the fact of think about what we just purchased.
I don't mean that it's not fine. I'm saying, do they accept this as acceptable?
It's acceptable on a mobile device because the game is free.
Right.
But Fallout 76 is on a mobile device, right? Which is what I mean by it's a troubling trend, right? We're seeing it in both sort of ways. Although, of course, you don't have to buy the season in 76. But think about it. Think about this in terms of like what we just purchased. We just purchased 2 new consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the jokes was, and it was serious actually, was, what's the first thing you're going to play on PS5? I'm probably going to play Fallout 76 so I can do my dailies.
Right.
And like it sort of begs the question of like, is this stuff, and this is again ridiculous maybe, but is this something that could eat into future console sales? If we see trends of subscriptions per games, seasons per games, microtransactions per game, right? Now you're really like plugged into one game. So if you were a person that just plays Fortnite, why in the hell would you buy a PS5? Until they force you to. Right, but no one's going to do that.
Don't you already have that on PC version?
But like, if it's like a kid that only has a PS4, right? You know, money talks, especially at that age, you don't have a lot of money, right? And so it's like, well, what are you going to play? Well, I'm going to play Fortnite. Well, can you still play with your friends if you're on PS4? Yes. Well, then why the hell would you ever upgrade, right? It's the same reason why I personally don't upgrade to the slim consoles generally, unless like my console breaks and I go get one inside of the gen, because like personally it's just like, oh, can I still play with other PS4 people? Yes. Oh, okay, I don't care then.
Or I guess you mean like the Pro and 1X would be more.
Right, like the Pro, the 1X. In my case, I have a PS3 Slim just because my PS3 broke later on in the gen, you know, but I wouldn't have bought the PS3 Slim normally.
No, I wouldn't upgrade to a Slim model. I did with the PS3 actually, though. That was the only time I did that.
Right. Although that was a long frickin' gen, to be fair.
I drive my things into the ground until they break.
Speaking of breaking, there's been some reported issues on the Xbox Series X, and also I have a PlayStation 1 that I just discovered but haven't put into the story, so we'll talk about that as well. But some of the Series X's are having problems with their disk drive. This comes from GameSpot. They're saying it's also almost inevitable that the launch of period of a new console will come with a handful of unforeseen issues. The Xbox Series X is no different. A number of reported issues with the Series X disk drive are frustrating players. Microsoft hasn't said anything about this officially, and they didn't send Polygon comment. But I watched some of the videos that they had on their on Twitter and Reddit and stuff, and like sometimes the disk wouldn't even go into the drive itself. Like the guy showed that like, it was empty, like he hit the eject button a couple times and then put the disk in, and it just wouldn't go in. Another guy, it went in halfway and it made a bunch of like jick 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 sounds. It was horrible.
Jesus.
So I haven't put a disc in, Matt. Have you put a disc in your console yet?
Yeah, I always test most of the features, short of like an optical like audio thing, if there is one on an applicable device.
Was it nice and smooth?
Sounds like these people need an Xbox Series S.
Jesus. The only thing that was weird about it was I put the disc. So like I found with the 360 or the the Xbox One, I found that like I would just like put the disc in it, just as it like slowly like kind of hit that lip, it would like pull the disc in. This one I had to like put the disc almost halfway in, then it's like whoop, and then takes it.
Really don't like that. I don't like.
It wasn't. Maybe it wasn't half. It would have been like 25%, but still.
No, but even I like it when it grabs it almost immediately. I really don't like having to put it in there, like the disc in very far before it grabs onto it.
It was weird, but I mean, I put GTA in there, and GTA will probably be in there for like a year. So.
Oh my god. Another issue people are reporting is spontaneous shutdowns. So this was a thread on the Microsoft Community Help Forum. I don't think I had some weird issues. I don't know if it was a shutdown, but you had to update your console when you got it, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
So I updated mine, and when it restarted, it wouldn't display anything on the TV.
Yeah, that's normal. Actually, so mine did. I think it's normal anyway. So on mine, like I have a receiver in between. So console to receiver, receiver to television. My receiver will tell me what's happening. Whether it's configuring the audio and stuff. And when my console first booted up before the update, it went like all my speakers like came on. It went like pop, like the pushing air noise of like that speakers will make if they come on. Yeah. While it was like figuring out, I suppose its codecs or whatever. Then it updated, like as it showed the Xbox logo. Then it updated, and then when it restarted, my receiver was showing a bunch of like stuff. Like the console was like figuring out what it wanted to show on my TV. And then it like figured itself out and then did it.
It was speaking in a deep demonic voice saying that he wanted to hurt Matt. That was spitting out blood from the disk drive.
No, I had GTA in there.
And so the PS5 also just launched, so we're not going to get as many issues reported yet. But one thing that's popped up so far has been that PS5 is having a queued for download error. This is reported from Polygon. The error occurs when you try to download a certain game that you already own, but the download simply won't start. So Polygon tried to download the PS5 version of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, but found themselves stuck on the screen. Hopping over to the download queue on PS5 shows that there is indeed no download in progress, nor are any errors listed. And so one of the ways to fix this, apparently, is to completely reset your entire console. So
there's the maniacal laugh.
Fuck me. Well, it's just like Windows support. Like, oh, okay. So let's take a look here. Yep. Okay, so you have one LED that's messing up out of 100. Yep. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Have you tried wiping everything and just not have any of your data? Oh, you haven't done that. Oh, okay. We'll do that and then we'll talk. Oh, okay. I'll just wipe everything I had then. Like every single time you boot up, there's like a risk of like, fuck, do I have to reboot? Do I have to like erase this thing? Like if you were following support,
Yeah, that's the best one. It's like, yeah, just wipe everything and reset it. It's like, what? No. I was reading a Reddit post. A guy in Australia, he had somehow through an update it failed, and his PS5 system ended up being bricked an hour after getting it.
Oh my god!
And he's like, I think he's doing like updates to his thing, but he's trying to get a hold of PlayStation support to try to get a replacement one, but nobody's really answering. It's like it's PlayStation. It's like Australia. Like who the fuck knows what kind of operation they got going on there?
No, I imagine this happens with every console launch. Yeah. I just kind of forgot about the issues with the last gen. But
I mean, you had a problem with your Series S or your.
Oh yeah,
your
right.
One
it was ticking or something, right? It was loud.
I think it might just be the fan because my new S actually ticks as well, just not as loudly.
I mean, the Xbox One, I think Tim and I talked about this once, so I don't know. I can't remember which version of the Xbox One you had, Tim, but mine was the big one, like the first one, launch day, and like I guess it was just getting old, and it wasn't a fan or anything, but if it was doing something in standby, it would make like an audible like constantly, like non-stop, and it would just be like, oh, and then it would like stop for a second and be like, what was that? And then just like just start back up again and just start friggin' ticking again or whatever.
I had the S, I had the limited edition like Storm Gray one.
Oh, that's cool.
I only had it for I don't know 6 months maybe. Never had any technical issues. Although when I was unpackaging it, I was using like a small knife to open up the packaging. I did at one point while I was unpacking the system drop the knife on the system. So there's a nice knife gouge in the bottom of it. So,
the bottom.
So yeah, to the guy who bought it from me off Kijiji, There's a little
Sucker.
Easter egg for you. Flip it over and see the "Hello from Seattle" message with a nice knife scratch right next to
Oh my
it.
god! Hello from Seattle. Fucking big old knife sticking out of there.
Hello from Seattle. Gah!
Well, that's all we got.
There's the Day One Patch Podcast console launch special extravaganza.
Console launch special extravaganza. That might be the name of the episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back
for-
to. I have to go back and check this. There might be a gap in my recording somewhere.
Oh.
That's why we have literally 3 backups.
Thank you, Tim, for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan, for joining me.
You can catch the Tim at twitch.tv/yeah-that-figures. Adriano, thank you. Thank you, Matt.
You're very
you.
welcome.
You cannot catch Adriano on twitch.tv unless he's popping into the Day One Patch Media channel, a chat to say, do a flip, and then immediately leave.
Yeah.
Or playing World War Z.
Or Left 4 Dead.
Or Left 4 Dead.
But make
we
sure to
continue
tune in
on-
Wednesday.
If we continue on World War Z, I'll be with you guys on that.
Hell
one.
yeah, we are.
Such a good game. Honestly, you could play it for like months.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So make
All
sure
right,
to
well-
tune in to twitch.tv/Day One Patch Media. Check it out. We're playing World War Z. It's a really fucking good game.
Oh, Ryan, I bought while we were also recording, I bought an iPhone SE.
What the fuck?
Holy poop.
What the hell's going on? You're playing Magic,
God
buying
dang.
iPhones, and
I also played Hearthstone.
you also got 2 consoles you're gonna get rid of.
1%.
Look, the S's are going. That's already sold. The PlayStation 5 is likely going to be sold unless I'm in a really good mood and I decide to keep it. That's probably getting sold. And then I just need a new phone because my phone's busted. Like I can barely charge this thing. I'm operating at like 71% battery capacity. Like this thing does, like 30% of my battery is not usable.
Jesus Christ.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace!